and for this session, we are reviewing a Plat, I think it's like 2900 BAP game. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. See rates, promos, any sort of events we have going on, all that good stuff. So here we have our BAP, we're paired up with a Mercy, and we are in a heavy poke team with Brawl Tanks. A little inconvenient to have our Brawl Tanks in this setup, but that's okay. This is pretty passive. You don't necessarily know what the enemy comp is, and it does in fact hold a Widow, so I understand why you're being passive. I'd prefer you use the Rhine Shield though and get some actual value here. You can't just be a heal bot on BAP, but I understand the concern about the poke. Okay, now that your Rhine is more on a straight line with you, are you going to contribute more? You are. What was that? Why? Okay, what are our appropriate rewind? This is something resembling weaving. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I just don't know what you think is justifying this shift. I don't care if your Zarya is missing health. I'm not convinced your Zarya was missing health, but even if she was, I don't care. You'll end up catching her with some of the radius on your right clicks as you're going for the Rhine here, and she has shield health. It recovers on its own. Like, you don't waste your shift for, maybe I'll heal my Zarya a little bit here. Are you worried about someone behind you? No, you're not. Like, this only heals you and Zarya right now, and you have full health. You need to save that cooldown. But maybe that's not a habit. Maybe you'll do better. Okay. Why did we jump here? Why are we giving ourselves hang time in the air? There's not really a good reason for that. That's just making ourselves a more predictable target for, say, this Echo. Okay. It didn't really change your angle to give you shots on something. Oh, hey, your shift might be useful right now, but it's 5 seconds out. Your shift now would heal you 150 health, which is more than you need, and it would heal your Rhine, what, like 75 health? Yeah, that could actually be useful right now. And it would roll a hot on your Zarya, who maybe will end up taking damage. What? Here you are. Did you miss the right click? Here you are. Oh. Your Zarya just swiped the heal. That's unfortunate. So you go for this, and then you're going to lamp. And lamp deploys in time. What? That's a deployed lamp. I would feel robbed in that situation. That lamp deployed in time. Part of it is you fell behind because, your Zarya, the right click caught, one of your right clicks caught on the Zarya there, but that lamp, that's unfortunate. I'm not going to be upset about that. Maybe the shift is I know I want to look away from my tanks at Echo, so I'm trying to top them up so they don't get eliminated while I'm looking away. Yeah, not a good enough reason. They were at full health. You don't look away at Echo for very long. Even if he's going to spend longer than normal, longer than the delay between right clicks looking away, his tanks were at full health and had a corner that they were playing around. You started to back up. You went, no, my lamp is here. I'm going to stand and fight. I don't think that, that's not right. You needed to just back up while shooting. Because the positioning is going to become terrible as soon as your lamp is gone. Yeah. Unless you're making the decision of, can't get out, I'm going to cart, in which case, why did you then back up?
It's over yet.
Okay. You're at full health. This will heal your Reinhardt. It might heal your Zarya. I still don't love this, to be perfectly honest. Did that actually get your Zarya? Yeah, it's got the pluses on her. So it did get your Zarya. So I'm going to be okay, but just barely okay with this shift. Yes, it's healing to other people that are missing health, are potentially going to continue taking damage, but it's really not that much healing that it does. And now you don't have it for yourself. But it's okay. You got 2 people who are missing health, but are probably going to get the full benefit out of it. So
Let's
it's
see
okay.
some.
But keep in mind, it's like 75 healing to each of those people. And if you hit someone with a right click directly now, it does what? 70 healing? So it's like you hit them with one more right click. Okay. What? What?
Get
What?
in here.
Your Reinhardt has a bubble. You knew your Reinhardt had a bubble.
Regen up.
I don't care enough about your Zarya for that. I also don't want you right here. I don't know why you're standing right here. This would be better. You could be doing this. I don't know why you're here. I quite frankly don't know why you're not here. This would be even better. Take Mercy's spot and just do your work from here. But that's okay. I think you're up here because you decided, yeah, you lamped after the bubble was clearly up there. So here we are. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
Regen up.
That's clearly, the bubble's clearly up.
Get in here.
Yeah. Why are you reloading in the open?
Regen up. Get in here.
Why? You were starting to go this way and you drifted back. You drifted back to hit your reload in the open instead of being like, no, I'm quite happy back here while my reload is going off. You just in the open to take damage here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's again, this is where you actually wanted to be. You got pulled up here, and I really think the reason that you got pulled up here was to get your shift off, which is why I'm saying your shift really isn't worth that much on your teammates. You instead wanted to be back here. The Zarya wasn't going to be forcing you back here. In fact, if you stay back here, you'd have had an easier time keeping up your Zarya on this angle and your Rein on this angle, and they'd have continued to both be dangerous. By being here, you had to turn back and forth to heal between your Reinhardt and your Zarya ended up giving up this angle. Like, this was better. This was easier to heal from. This was easier to do damage from. This gave you more reliable cover against the opponents. The only thing you didn't get is a shift on your Reinhardt that you got by being up here. I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. This was better.
The payload has reached
Let's see some.
I'm checking in.
Regen well activated.
Fine, I'll live with the shift. It's not great. You're kind of close to this. You're still kind of close to this.
Let them up.
Wait, why is the line? Oh, you did get it over here. It really could have been a. Okay, it barely stuck. It looked like you threw it too far forward. That's fine. Good lamp.
Got you good at me. Regen up.
Okay. Okay.
Get in here.
Yeah, I mean, you did spend a lot of time looking at what was going on over here without any sort of check over here. It's true that these people didn't need healing, so it was okay in that sense for you to go damage, damage, damage a bunch in a row like that, but you didn't really know what was going on over here, and that wasn't your line of sight. You just weren't looking. Okay. Okay. Not in danger anymore. Flip to your Hanzo. I know they're still low health, but they have cover available if they want it. Your Hanzo does not. You went a little heavy on shots there. So here we are. that should have been a left click, but that's okay. That's fine. Now you should go for 1 or 2 left clicks on that McCree. Nope, I don't know why you tripled up on healing there. There was time to get offensive shots on this McCree without losing time. There was not time to get that many offensive shots on the McCree without losing time on your Hanzo.
How about a little extra? Come on.
Okay. It's fine. This isn't great. This isn't really where you wanted to advance anyways. You're advancing like you're going to take an offensive angle. Like, this isn't really where you want to be. You almost want to be thinking more about, do I get myself back here to do work? Because my Zarya or whoever has tucked themselves down here where I can't really help them. Now you're using your lamp for a duel you can't win, I might point out.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Fully healed.
Fine.
Regen up.
No.
Regen up.
Still not right. Still not right. Your Reinhardt is full health. These guys are full health. You're using your shift for no reason. And this fight doesn't look like it's about to get serious and everyone is going to take damage while your hot is rolling either. Like, their backline is not fully rotated in position to do work. Their Reinhardt could come around and swing at you, but you can easily outheal that with just your right-click weaving. This is a wasted shift. Okay.
Light them up.
I don't like this. Here's why I don't like this. So, here's how you need to think about your window. There's a lot we could talk about with windows, but when it comes to windows at a basic level, at a very basic level, we can think of, hey, I'll set a window up that my team can use, a window up that my team can use to shoot at the opposing team, which would be like this. Whole team can use this window other than my hard off angling guy. That's fine. Even my Reinhardt gets to throw a fire strike through that. Okay. That's pretty cool. That might be the most offensive potential. The problem, of course, is the Reinhardt can run through this window pretty easily. And the other problem is if my Reinhardt doesn't then immediately take space past my window, maybe because the other Reinhardt ran through it, I don't get my heal amp on my Reinhardt. And getting the double heal strength on your Reinhardt is a pretty big deal. So this would be like the everyone window that we're describing. And it makes sense if our Reinhardt is going to get Fire Strike value and then run through it, if that's something we can reasonably expect. I do not expect my Reinhardt to run through this window that you actually put down, this one right here, because, hey, entire enemy backline can see him. Your backline is back here. They would have to rotate out to here to use this window. Your Reinhardt's just not going to be gutsy enough to go do that. So this is a bit of a problem. The other type of window you can lay down is, hey, my Reinhardt, you're too close, which is a positioning thing that has been happening, but let's pretend you're back here and you set a window up for yourself, or you set a window up just for your backline while your Reinhardt is up here. Okay, your Reinhardt can't get the Fire Strike value, but you get the double heal value on him no matter what, and it doesn't depend on him super aggressively pushing forward, etc. Now, right now, this backline window would be a problem because these guys are over here and you can't get enough value out of this backline window. What you'd actually do is you'd set the window more like this so that you could potentially take some sight lines there, some sight lines there. But even so, this is not the right time or place for a window. So the truth is, this window would have been better, a window that was, hey, supporting your front line. But honestly, it's still not right. You wanted to either let these guys get their back line to like here before you seriously considered this window. Yes, I'm aware there's an echo up here. I think there's something in here. You wanted to let them advance their back line a little more, or you wanted to yell at your team to push a bit and then throw your window down here. Those were things that you wanted to do. But this window doesn't really make sense. Their Reinhardt can push through it immediately. Your backline isn't likely to curve fast enough to get into value. I'm not saying this is a terrible window, but it's certainly got room for improvement.
Get in here.
But okay, I'd have preferred a little tighter on this so that the pillar did a little better job, but that's fine. No problem, Elix. No problem.
Come on, Better? Is it hot in here or is it just me?
My ultimate is charging.
I haven't done the announcement yet, but we will be having someone on probably on Tuesday who has made Windows and understanding them a very, very serious part of how they think about the game. So if you have more window questions, obviously you can ask me window questions whenever, but like if you really want to hear the window explanation and you want to go 7 levels deeper than we just did here, I recommend showing back up on Tuesday, I believe it'll be, with our guest and specifically peppering them with that question. If that's something that you're interested in seeing. Okay, back to this. And I'll do an announcement of who that's going to be and when exactly it'll be as we get closer. I'm just waiting for some other news related to them to drop.
How about a little extra?
Okay, I mean, I like that you're shifting, I guess. I don't like that you got hit by the fire strike.
How about a little extra?
Your BAP, you have cover you could have gone by it, and you have exo boots, and you got caught by a shatter. It's not quite as bad as Lucio getting caught by a shatter, but it's almost as bad as Lucio getting caught by a shatter. Okay. Too much. You're too slow on your flick here. Right click, left click. You're too slow on your left click. So you go for another right click. Then you go for one left click, and you go for 2 left clicks. And I don't mind. You can fit 2 left clicks. That's reasonable. But your flick was too slow. Your flick to the Reinhardt was too slow for you to do a double left click here. And your flick back to your Reinhardt is definitely too slow because you're mixing in a shift here, which I don't really think is necessary. It's okay because you both in your Ana will get benefit from it, but I don't really think you need it yet.
Regen up.
Is approaching its destination.
You right-clicked Zarya, not your Rein. Now you're going to try to lamp. Okay. You go offensive. It's time to swap to right-click. Okay. Yeah, these are positioning issues. Your shift usage is bad, and that gets you eliminated sometimes when it shouldn't. But the real issue is your positioning is too close to your team, too far forward, and that is costing you. You're sometimes even going deeper on angles. You're getting close, perhaps, to use your shift. So possibly if we fix your shift issues, your positioning will fix itself. Possibly if we fix your positioning issues, your shift issues will fix themselves. But we're going to tackle those two things to try to make you better at this.
Ready for battle.
That sake is not half bad, but I prefer a little bite in my liquor.
How predictable. Such an unsophisticated taste.
Ready.
Okay.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Reload. This is why? Why are you shifting?
All better.
There was nothing there that you couldn't heal up with right clicks. What? No shot at the Widow, really? Here you are. A lot of right clicks. That's 6 right clicks without any offensive shots. The Widow is right there. A, you're too far out of cover for where that Widow is. Like, if that Widow chooses to aim at you, you just lose right now. But work your way left, and as you're working your way left, take a shot at her. Put a little pressure on her. Remember, she has less than 200 HP now. That's how they reworked the hero. Even a little bit of damage pressure on her makes her very unhappy. So take the shot at her and close your angle. And then she won't know, are you going to peek over here or are you going to peek over here? And, you know, that's how we go about this. And she can't hard look at you because your Hanzo is right here. And while you're back here, you'll heal up your Hanzo. And then you'll see, oh, did she take a shot at my Hanzo? I'm going to peek and take another shot at her. Or I'm going to peek and heal up my tanks, etc. That's 7 shots without any offense shots. And again, that Widow shot is right there. What? What? Why do you think do you just not see the Widow? Why do you think you can do this? Did your Hanzo send a sonar up here? Did he call that? No, that's a regular shot. Like, is there, with a sonar, you could potentially do this, what you're doing. Maybe. Ugh. If you want to hop up here, that's fine with me. Hop up here, go like this. Again, it's not amazing because that Widow's there and you haven't put any pressure on her yet, but hey. No respect for the Widow is right. Surely you can't ignore the Widow with the sonar up. Well, now you're going to stare at a Widow that's not peeking. Reinhardt's over there. If the Widow's not going to peek, you can still get offensive shots on this Reinhardt. Okay, that's two sets of nades. Or if memory serves, you've been at 45 ammo when you've had to do, for the last 20 healing nades, I don't think you've got an offensive shot off. So that either means you're not trying to weave or you're not positioned correctly to contribute. And you weren't trying to weave is the answer there. Like, you couldn't position more aggressively to weave. I mean, now for the second clip, you could have positioned more aggressively on these guys. But for the first clip, the answer was take a shot at the Widow. I didn't matter, like, of these 20 shots, I didn't matter that the first 6 were all heals without you weaving. Or maybe it was the middle 6 or whatever of the first clip. I think maybe for the first ones you actually had some targets available. But, like, this should be screaming at you. This should be screaming at you like, wait a second, I'm doing something wrong. And either you're positioning wrong or you're not trying for weaves. And, you know, back when you were over here, when you were forcing this, you could weave offensively. When your team was sort of up there and the Widow was there and the enemies were all like here with Newsstand in the way, that's fine. You can't shoot at the enemies, but you could have shot at the Widow. Once you wandered up here and the Widow was hard hiding behind that, but you had a sonar up, you couldn't see anyone except you could because you could see the Reinhardt over here. You could see the Zarya over here. Like, you could still do work. So that's what we're going to do. They can possibly afford to be more offensive than this given their buddy is Moira, who can do a lot of team healing in her current position but can't pressure the Widow. Yeah, potentially. The thing that was stopping them from being offensive was the Widow. But they could have had some offense against the Widow. And then once the sonar locked down the Widow, they could have afforded to be offensive against the team.
Regen burst activated.
Okay, I'm going to be okay with that shift. Oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that when you're standing here, you get eliminated by a Widowmaker that you knew was there the whole time. Like, this was maybe an option, but not a great one. Honestly, there was very little reason to leave here. This was a good spot, gave you offensive shots over here where the Widow couldn't see you, gave you heal shots on your team where the Widow couldn't see you, let you peek the Widow from either direction. You could have argued up here and tried to do much the same thing. You just wouldn't have been able to heal your Hanzo, but like, this was not a place. This could have been a place. This was a good place. This was a fine place. This was not a place. And again, you got too close to your team, which is why this wasn't an amazing place, but was still better than where you were, because at least you were on your cover. But this wasn't as good as this or this, and what you actually did was this, which was even worse. Don't be this close to your team. It's not like there's a bunch of flankers on the other team that are corralling you, forcing you closer to your brawl tanks.
Payload stopped. Not exactly what
Widow is clearly hacking. No. She's not hacking. She's throwing. She's telling us right in her name. She's throwing. She's not hacking.
Let's see a smile on that face.
I mean, at least your team is going to push into a fight, but this still isn't a very good shift. It's like, yes, it got a lot of people. It got a lot of people that are full health, with the exception of your Reinhardt, who one nade will heal to full health. But I'm not convinced they're all going to take damage before this shift expires on them. I'm not at all convinced that they're going to take damage. And if that was the shift I wanted, oh look, my Reinhardt isn't hard pushing. He's instead looking to do a bubble trade, a fire strike. So my shift is going to be wasted. Yep, shift was wasted. Team didn't hard engage when team didn't hard engage. I shifted thinking they were going to hard engage and they didn't. Don't do the shift. Okay, how are we going to use this window?
Let them up.
Fine. Hanzo can use this window. You can heal your team through this window. Fine. Huh?
Let them up.
Did that error on the geometry or something? Weird. That was not the window I thought you put down. This is going to be harder to use. It's not terrible. I just wanted it tilted a little bit more in like a this direction type thing. Okay. Yeah, now you can't as easily heal your your grab there. Yeah, that's possibly an accidental rotation. That's the most likely case. You'd call that window pretty terrible.
Get in here.
So like, it's got to be an accident. It's got to be an accident that this happened. You can't heal the grab with it, which is what you wanted to do. The thing that is sort of a saving grace to the window is you still can shoot the whole enemy team through it, and you still can nade the corner of this to heal them. But now that you would prefer to hit directs with your nades rather than splashes, it's a problem. In the old world, this would have been like, it's a super offensive window that I can still heal with. Now it's like, well, you know, and then it would force your Hanzo over here. It forces all of you under the same positioning to use the window. Yeah, it's not a great window. I'm trying to be too generous. Yeah, it would be hard for me to call that window a 4. I agree, Blah.
You're fully healed.
Here we are. You hit your shatter, or Smitty hit his shatter. You're going to go for the right-click heal. You decide that, no, the right-click heal isn't enough. Are you going to shift or are you going to lamp? Because you're not going to do both. You're not going to do both. And if you are going to do both, you're going to lamp and then shift. You're not going to shift then lamp. There's reasons for that order of effect. If it's really dangerous enough to demand your lamp, you want your lamp out immediately, and you would also prefer to have your shift rolling after your lamp is out so that, they potentially go down to the protected health with lamp, and then potentially they tick back up above it. Whereas if you shift first, well, if the threat was bad enough for the lamp, use the lamp. You're not trying to slow down the rate at which they get to the lamp, and your shift certainly isn't meaningfully slowing it down. Again, you would prefer your shift is rolling for longer after the lamp is over. Okay. Where's your offensive shot? They're fine. You have to position where you can get offensive value. And if your offensive value is shooting into the corner of the Rhine shield, I'm fine with that. Okay. Kind of slow to fire that Rhine shot. Why are we not shooting? Fine. Right click here could be a little faster. And then it's just automatic. You just automatically shoot the left click. You don't have to move your crosshair at all. Yes, there's a Transcendence going, but you can still get Rhine Shield damage. You can still get ult charge, and that ult charge won't be returned to them because it's trans healing. So it's just it's either Rhine Shield damage for you or ult charge for you. Either one of those is free. The shot is free. It doesn't slow down your next right click. Shoot the left click. Why? And why are you in the open? You could be here. You could have worked your way to here. Like, you could have worked your way. Well, okay, you couldn't really have worked your way to there yet. Where's the left click? No, no, where are the left clicks? You're doing it wrong. This is not 2900 BAP gameplay. You can't not take off. You can't have your clip look like this consistently or semi-consistently as a 2900 BAP. It's not going to work.
Regen up.
Who? Who is that for?
Regen up.
Who's going to use this shift? You're not getting value out of this shift. You have full health. Your Zarya? Your Moira? They're full health. Are they maybe going to take damage? Maybe. But I don't know that. I would much rather shift them after they've actually taken some damage, or when it's high probability that they're going to take damage while the shift is rolling. Like, why shift when a right click does the job? That's in Widow's vision. She's hiding on the low ground by the garage. Oh, whatever. That's fine. I really do think the shift is an I'm going to be looking away shift again. Maybe he saw Crit Hanzo and didn't see the feed. Maybe. I don't know when you're talking about, Blah. Were you saying when I wanted some of this positioning here was the Widow over here? Well, actually, if that's the case, no. Widow was in garage. So Widow was here. Or maybe Widow was over here. Probably Widow was over here. And what didn't you like? Did you... Yeah, she's still there. But he was like right here. So he was like here. So this is still better. And this is still better too. Oh, she was on the other side? No. Okay. We're probably having latency issues here. Still there in the air. Right side, her side. Yeah. So he was here, and this was a problem, and I'd have preferred he be here or here. These were both better. No, she could have eliminated him. She could have eliminated him, but yeah, no, I agree. Like, she could have eliminated him in the sense that we can go back to it if we want, but she could have eliminated him because he was standing here, but she was busy throwing. She might have still been able to eliminate him here, but that would have depended on how big the peaks were. It would have been harder to eliminate him here than here. And she couldn't have eliminated him here without taking a pretty big peak herself. Okay, we're on the same page. Got it. Cool. I thought you were saying no, I was missing the widow, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Step inside, stay alive.
But I appreciate the second pair of eyes. I do miss things every once in a while.
60 seconds remaining.
What? That's an interesting lack of right click. Right click? Right click? No.
Let them out.
This is my will. The payload has
Okay.
reached
The game continues. You got the checkpoint. You will not be finishing the map, I can tell you that much, but you got the checkpoint. Okay.
Reach and burst activated.
Okay, so let's go back here.
Reach and burst
This happened.
activated.
Cool. You're down to 5 shots and 5 grenades and 42 ammo. Fine. Sure. They were missing a smidgen of health. Whatever. Reinhardt's fine, so you're going to look for offensive shots. Reinhardt's still fine. Not sure why we did that. So now we're at 42 and 3. Offensive shot. Offensive shot. Offensive shot. Offensive shot. Questionable offensive shot. We could weave a heal onto our Moira. Okay, we do try to weave a heal onto our Moira. That's not a weave. We could have gotten another offensive shot off first quite easily. We could have gotten another offensive shot between those off pretty easily as well. And now this might look better. This might look better in terms of your ammo totals, but there wasn't much weaving going on there. It was just, oh, everyone's full health, so let me do some damage. And I know you don't fully need me to tutorial you on this because I've seen you do plenty of weaving at other points, but for this attack, your weaving has been just not present. So maybe weaving is something that you're still very actively working on and isn't incorporated yet, but your weaving on defense looked better than your weaving on attack has here. A lot. Because, you spent some offensive shots this time. You did them while your team was at full health. Which you should. You should go full offense when your team is on full health. But you're not doing much in the weaving territory when your team is missing health. Even small amounts of health. Okay? I don't mind if you shift this.
Get in here.
Choosing to lamp it first. Lamp then shift. Okay.
You're going to be fine. Honestly, it sounds good.
Okay.
How about a little extra healing?
I still don't like this. I still don't like this shift. Okay, where are you going to play from? I'm a little scared about what's to your left. Okay. Right click, left click? Left click? Left click. Left click. Left click. Hey, we got a left click off. Why are we? Okay. Fine. Lamp shift. Mm-hmm.
60 seconds remaining.
The power of destruction.
Okay. Why didn't you shoot the echo? I don't mind this, but now shoot the echo. Or right click, then shoot
Let's
the
see a
echo.
smile on that face.
Okay, now shoot the echo. What? Oh, you're choosing to window instead. Fine. I don't love it. Sure would be nice to be able to shift behind your window, though.
Towards our desired outcome.
You know what a better window would have been? A better window would have been right here, where you could shoot through the window like this, and then then they can't rotate because you can still shoot through the window like this. If your window can occupy multiple lanes, that's good. This window isn't really occupying multiple lanes. It's really just covering here. If you can get your window to cover multiple, that's better. Windows are big now. Take advantage of the fact that they made windows huge.
Bad guys. Heads up.
I know it was easy for them to hide from it. Yeah, it was. That's why we want our window to occupy multiple lanes if we can.
Get in here. Get in the high ground.
30 seconds.
Stop running down. Attack.
What's the cost of all those no left clicks? The cost of all of these no left clicks is reduced pressure on the enemy team. Reduced pressure on the enemy team is increased offensive potential from the enemy team. When you do things like not get left clicks off on the Echo is able to stay in aggressive positions for longer. When you do things like not get offensive clicks on the Reinhardt shield, the Reinhardt is able to stay in the fight longer and swing at your Rein more often. When you do things like not get left clicks on the McCree is able to stay in the fight on his off angle longer. The Anna is able to focus on her Reinhardt longer because she doesn't have to go heal this. Doing damage to the other team does reduce the damage that the opposing team does to you because their positioning gets safer. They have to use their resources to heal up and all those things. Like not getting these left clicks in is a resource cost to your team in the long run. It's like pressure on them relieves pressure on you. So if you relieve pressure on you, that makes healing your team easier. That wins you the fight more. It's sort of like pressure sort of is the same thing as damage, but not quite. So pressure leads to a limbs, leads to team fight wins, leads to match wins. Like pressure, limbs, team fights, matches. That's sort of how you want to think about it. Increase the pressure. If you can increase the pressure on them, decrease the pressure on you, that's how you get to a limbs. If we were to moneyball this, it would be like, hey, we aren't thinking about this in terms of, hey, we might know that team fights win matches, and we might go, we want team fights. But if we're trying to recruit players, trying to study how we go do players from a Moneyball standpoint, it would be like they do in baseball, it would be okay, this is what we want, but we can't actually get this, or this is overvalued on the market, etc. So let's break it down. Can we actually get a limbs? Well, we can sort of actually get a limbs, but a limbs aren't perfect. So what we actually want to get is pressure. Pressure is what we want to do because pressure will lead to these things. Greater pressure. And if you're just healing, it's like, oh, look how high my healing number is. I don't care because pressure leads to limbs, leads to team fight wins, leads to match wins. That's how we get there. It's like when they went in baseball, we're actually looking for hits. We're not looking for the person with the best win rate. We're not looking for the person who hits the most home runs. We're actually looking for hits, or, we're actually looking for who's getting the hits or who's getting on base. Would you say in this game that's directly contributed to failed bushes or failed defensive fights? Did this Widow end up doing anything? I have to think. Did this Widow end up doing anything when he didn't put pressure on her? I think she did get an limb, and that at least slowed down a win in this fight significantly. Has it slowed down wins over here? Absolutely, it slowed down. Probably didn't make a difference in the fight where they got eliminated in the grab here. Probably didn't actually make a difference there, except that it slowed his ult building. On the defense, I don't remember the defense anymore. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually made the difference in this match. But you treat it like it will because over long enough sample sizes it will. I'll keep watching for the rest of this match on that specific question, blah, and I will talk more and I will try to point that out a little bit more. Sure. Moneyball's such a good movie. Yeah, it was a good one. Okay. He's definitely been eliminated a couple times from not having his shift. That much I can say for sure. Okay, well I might not get an option. There's your lamp. You missed. You missed. I mean, you missed once and then you got him. Shift's coming up. You're gonna shift him. No. Okay, and that's the end. Let's go back and watch a real fight, though, to answer Blaw's question. Like, let's watch the fight here. Here we are. This was a good string. This was a good string where we didn't get damage off. So let's rewatch this fight. Because we should illustrate this better so that it's not just like, Temporal is just saying these things. Might have to settle for that, but here we are. Let's get to this. Okay, so there was room for a shot there. We're not finding a way to get offensive shots off here. We hit our shift and our lamp. We're not getting offensive shots off here. How are the two Reinhardt shields doing? You have 800 health on your Rein shield. You have 800 health on your Rein shield. Okay. Okay. That Reinhardt shield could easily be down another 150, 200 health. Where is it now? So that's a broken Rein shield. Like, the difference here is a broken Rein shield. And what is that then going to lead to? Well, we get into too much of a butterfly effect of what does that actually mean, etc. But if, it's not a broken Rein shield, he'd have chosen to take damage instead so that he'd still have the shield. Well, that's more missing health. Or that is less offensive shots that his Anna got to take, because she was too busy healing the Rhine. Or it was he's having to play more passive and back off, which is, hey, we get more space. But let's keep going. Okay. There. Okay. No damage there. Again, that damage would have just been probably ult charge for him or Rein shield damage. How's that Rein shield? That Rein shield is broken. So it's really just ult charge for him. There's offensive shot opportunity on the right here. Okay. Please don't leave. There's offensive shot opportunity on the Zen here, which is going to make the Zen go behind cover, which is going to take away the Zen's ability for a moment to move around orbs, or is going to potentially open someone else up to hit the Zen and finish them off. Like, you never know exactly how damage is going to combine, where it's like you hit a shot on this, and that means when your Zen hits him with a body shot, he gets eliminated type thing, which, might happen here. Okay. Oof, that's nothing there. So yeah, the Zen would have been eliminated. If he'd taken an offensive shot on the Zen, potentially the Zen's eliminated right here. Like, yes, we don't know if he'd taken the offensive shot on the Zen. It's possible that the Zen would have then not been helped by the Hanzo. We're butterfly affecting it too much, but yes, that's effectively what happens. I'm so used to watching your VODs on YouTube, it's weird to actually be able to type in chat. Hey, Jason, good to have you here live. Also, at this point, if he eliminates the Widow or makes her go away, it saves his Hanzo. Yes, that is correct. You go for this. Yeah, that would have saved your Hanzo.
Step inside, stay alive.
Could have had another shot on this Rhine, but that's not a huge deal.
60 seconds.
It's an air and rounds. Okay, so he's eliminated. So in this team fight, what have we missed? We've missed at least 2 shots on the Widow. We missed a shot onto the Zen. We missed probably 300 or 400 damage to the Rhine Shield, which, what does that mean? That means a broken Rhine Shield. That means an eliminated Zen. That means a Widow that contributes less, which very likely means our Hanzo doesn't get eliminated. That's in one team fight. Can we say that's exactly how everything would have unfolded? No, but like, oh, hey, that kind of matters. That's +2. You know, like literally just, I mean, it's effectively +2. You scratch a -1 and you get a +1. The -1 was your Hanzo, which gets scratched, and the +1 is their Zen. And then you've also got a broken Rhine Shield, which leads to who knows what, or maybe not a broken Rhine Shield, but more health pressure on them, etc. So that matters. Again, we don't know that that's exactly what would have happened. We're having to go into the land of inference from here, like, well, what exactly would have changed based on that damage? But I think that's a reasonable interpretation of what could have happened here. So that's what we wanted to talk through. Anyways, when we talk about our Widow here, let me catch up on chat. Okay. Okay. Out of curiosity, was it possible for Ryan to try and help that countered Grav Dragon by blocking Transcendence line of sight with his shield? That countered Grav Dragon. This one here. We have... Which one? Sorry, I don't remember where that is, Helix. So if you type, is that here or is that on second point? You're going to have to remind me where that is and I can go back to it. We're not quite there yet, but soon. There we are. Thanks, I'm a Mercy main, but trying to expand my horizon through your BAP videos. Excellent! I already watched your Mercy VODs. They were good. Cool, cool. Yeah, we've got some BAP stuff too, and we'll cover a couple BAP things in a moment here. So if they flipped the team fight, so they won that and they're not at a minute. Yeah, they're not up a minute when they cap instead of an OT cap. They are up a minute when they cap. Yeah, they're now up a minute. There you go. Okay. Helix, if you can tell me where that is, I can potentially jump back to it. But moving on to this actual review here. What we're looking at in terms of helping this BAT player, it was in this fight. No worries, though. I think it was probably a long shot. Was it in this fight? Because I don't see, like... Was it earlier in this fight? Was it earlier in this fight? I'll look. No. I'm trying to go, is it earlier in this fight when they have their ults? Here we are, yeah. Okay. So here we are. There's a grab. There's a dragon. Yeah, that'd be the right play. The Rhine shield to try to block this Transcendence off would be the right play. Our Rhine would be getting shot for it, no question, but it would be the right play. Like our Ryan stepping forward and wedging his shield in here. You'll see the Zen is tucked pretty far back in the grav compared to some of these guys, just how that worked out. So yeah, it would be right for our Ryan to step forward and try to shield to block some of this. Well, the timing's a little tough because the dragon's kind of late. No, our Ryan backed off and he didn't have to. Yeah. Our Ryan backed off to Fire Strike when he didn't have to. He could have been up further. He might have lost his life for it, but that could have been, hey, we're going all in on the play. Yeah, that would have been fine. Would have been a good play. Instead, he's just doing damage. He's not going to get his shatter out of it, so that's probably not right. Okay. Interesting. So, but getting back to this, our BAP, the first thing that you're going to need to work on is your positioning. Really we need to do three things. We need to do your positioning. We need to do your shift usage. These are tied together, but they're not the same thing for you. I think we're going to have to work on them individually. And we need to do your weaving. If you're currently working on weaving, please keep working on weaving because your defensive round weaving was better than your offensive round weaving, which suggests to me that you might be trying to work on it consciously. If so, keep working on it. You know what weaving is. Weaving is, hey, I try to get left clicks between my right clicks. I try not to just chain right clicks. You can do 1-to-1 ratios. That's fine. You can do double damage, single heal. If your flicks are fast enough, they don't look fast enough, so I'd focus on this for now. I would focus on this for now, and that's fine. This is something you need to master. Later, you'll learn how to break that and go for this. But go for these for now, really get that practice, sort of make that an automatic thing whenever there's anyone to heal and anyone that you could do damage to. Try to do this. If this isn't something that you're currently working on, we can instead start with your shift usage because it's going to be the easiest fix. Just stop it. Stop using shift to try to heal your team going into a fight. Stop using shift to be like, oh, I'm going to look away from my tanks for a second to do offensive shots, so let me go ahead and shift. No, our shift usage is primarily for when we've taken damage. That's what we're looking to use our shift for. Are we able to sometimes use our shift when other people are taking damage and we're close to them because there's a good reason for us to be close to them? Yes. If you are rotating through something, and because you are rotating through something, you are close to your tanks and they take damage, absolutely. If you're shifting to protect your other support who's taking damage and you're just maximizing heals on them, sure. But primarily your shifts are for you. You can use your shifts when everyone is in combat or multiple people who are in combat are going to be hit by your shift and it'll roll on them and it'll heal them and you expect them to take more damage. You can do that, but you shouldn't be positioning to get that because while that's a valid shift use, it's not actually very powerful. Your most powerful shifts are going to be the ones that heal you. The fact that your shift heals you for twice what it heals teammates is pretty darn important, and you being harder to remove because you have a hidden extra 150 health is pretty darn valuable. So please don't do this, I'm just shifting because stuff. Don't do this, I'm shifting because I'm looking away. Don't do this, I'm shifting in case my tanks take damage when my tanks are actually in relatively safe positions, holding corners, etc. And don't go, well, I think my tanks are going to take damage, so let me walk forward so that I'll be able to shift them. No, not worth it. And if you don't understand why that is, part of it is because as you get closer, it means you don't have your shift, which is an opportunity cost, but part of it is also as you get closer, your angles get worse, and it's things like when you were when you were on defense over here and you got close to shift, and your opportunity cost is you're having to now hit bigger swings to heal your Rhine and your Zarya. Your Zarya ends up giving her position, and because you're hitting these bigger swings, you're not getting offensive pressure. When you don't get offensive pressure, you don't go +2 in fights. That's what we're talking about. That's why this matters. Instead, we don't go to our shift, which leads us directly to our positioning. We want to play further back. We want to play further back so that it's easy to do adjustments between the targets we're healing, Zarya, Rhine, so it's easy to shoot at targets. We want to make sure we're tight on cover when it makes sense. We want to make sure we're on high ground. I don't have good high ground here. When it makes sense. those are fine. And 4, when it makes sense, that's generally going to be, hey, does my high ground let me play above and behind my teammates? Oh, there's a Widow over there? Maybe I don't want it. Maybe I want to play here instead where I can line of sight the Widow while still interacting with my team. That's just fine. Above and behind or behind your team is generally where you want to play on BAP. It gives you the easiest time to weave, and it keeps you out of danger in most situations. Are there times where you will get close to your team, like when your team is rotating through dangerous sight lines? Yes. Are there times when you'll get closer to your team, like, hey, you have brawl tanks and the opponents are running a lot of divers? Yeah, you might get closer to your team in that situation as well. But overall, you're looking to be behind your team, above and behind your team, if it's an option. You're looking to position in such places where you can see your team and you can shoot at the opponents. You're not looking to be in places where I can heal my team, but I can't see any opponents to interact with. Sometimes you're going to do that, but you're pretty quickly going to go, and now let me get back to trying to do both. That's what you mostly want to be able to be doing. You have to. If you don't get weapon damage out of BAP, he's not good enough. Like, I call him a heavy healer, and he is a heavy healer, but he doesn't pump out stupid amounts of heals. You do need to get offensive value out of him to stay in the game. Like, to stay in the game, to not just fall behind, to not just lose the pressure battle, you do need to do damage with him. Because you're not throwing a Discord Orb out there for your team. You're not throwing up offensive nades for your team. You're not doing a damage boost for your team. He needs his offensive pressure through his actual damage shots, because both of his cooldowns are tied to defensive stuff. Okay, and we talked about weaving. So that's going to do it. If there's any final questions, go ahead and throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. Okay, there we are. Mercy Man, that was Jason. What level of play would that be expected at? I mean, we were definitely doing lots of that in contenders. I would probably expect that play in Masters. It wouldn't be like, oh my god, how did the Rhine not do that? But you'd be looking for that kind of thing in Masters. You're not surprised when your Rhine does that in Masters. It would be a little surprising to see in Plat, even in High Plat, your Rhine doing that. It would not be surprising. It might not happen every time in Masters when it's there, but you'd expect to see that in Masters. What about left and right clicking at the same time? I imagine it's only appropriate when your heel will hit something. No, that's not how the thing works. Anyway, doesn't matter. You're trying to hit your weave. If you do them, it's still going to do. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yes, you would effectively. You're trying to weave, and part of why you're trying to weave, part of why you're positioning where you are, is so that it is basically no adjustment or very very minor adjustments for them to happen. And you try to make them happen at almost the same time, but you do move your crosshair slightly so that, hey, the nade is going out because the nade trajectory is slightly different than the nade has an arc to it. The left click has a straight to it. Rule of thumb is just automatically do both of them because it barely increases rate of fire and you might snag extra healing damage, basically. And thank you, Temporal. Okay, cool. Then I think we are good to go, and I'm going to be taking a break for now, so maybe I'll see you guys later. I'll at least have another upload. I might be done streaming for the day, but I will see you guys later. Thanks, guys.